It's an honor to be actually sitting down here before you today, because what we're about to discuss is something of profound significance, which is ethics in business. The way I want to go about it today is actually to look at ethics in business viewed through the lens of our African heritage. Um, One thing that is incredible across Africa is that our cultures are very, very, very similar. More so in a rapidly globalizing world economy, Africa still stands out at a crossroads of tradition and modernity, where our values and our ethics need to play a crucial role in the way we shape our business practices. Um, I've thought widely about what I wanted to discuss today within the theme and within the pillars that have been established for what we want to discuss today. So I will be emphasizing the importance of excellence, diligence, and how bringing value to the table are cornerstones of ethical business in Africa. Additionally, I will highlight how people with disability in the African context can overcome challenges and make significant contributions. So this is basically the theme and the pillars of what I'll be presenting to you today. Now, if we look at our continent, it's rich in culture, diversity, and history. Um, our values are deeply rooted in our communal relationships. We have respect for elders and a sense of collective responsibility. Um, these are not just cultural artifacts, they are actually essential ingredients for ethical business practices. In our communities, trust and integrity are paramount. Business transactions through our heritage are not merely economic activities, but are social contracts built on trust and mutual respect. Now, when we look at this from the African context and we look at where we are today in our societies, we will understand there's been a lot of upheaval in these values, in these cultural artifacts, where we start to see and we start to ask a lot of questions about, our leaders, our business people, how they've made their money, how they make their decisions, um, societies and countries that are basically up for sale, where we have situations where if you don't belong to a particular elite group or a particular side of the argument or side of the business, you cannot get too far. But we need to understand what the role of excellence is, because it's the role of excellence that will make you stand apart from all these kind of people. Now, let us look at excellence, not as a destination, but a continuous journey in our lives. I would like to say excellence is a journey from the day we are born until the day we die. But obviously, it is only when we become self-aware that we start to understand some of the things that are going around us. So we need to understand that it is a continuous journey. It never stops. It means always striving to be your best in whatever we do. It means setting high standards for ourselves. If we don't have high standards for ourselves, we cannot have high standards for other people. We need to remember that we are mirrors. So when people look at us, what do they see? So we must always constantly seek to improve and innovate. And when people look at us, that is what they must see. They must understand that when they look at our mirror, our focus is always about delivering quality, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is. Not only delivering that quality, we must exceed the expectations so that when people look at us, we not only mirror trust and quality, they see that every time they interact with us, what they see in our mirror is somebody that will always exceed their expectation. And this is about being proud of who we are. It's being proud of our heritage. And when we do that, we showcase the best of ourselves. We show the best case, where we showcase the best of our community, of our training, of our education. We showcase everything that is best in the world. Now, to achieve excellence, there are certain things we need to do. We need to invest in education. You know what? A lot of people think that education is you must go to college. From college, you go to university, you do your first degree, you do your second degree, you do your master's and all of that. You'll be amazed at the number of people that I've met that have been through university that don't have anything to offer. You will also be amazed at the number of people who are employed in my business today who have never been through the walls of a university, but they have invested in educating themselves online, by reading, by practical training, by exposure, by building their capacity. Now, these are what I mean by investing in education. It's not just school. Some people go through school and school doesn't go through them. So invest in your training, in your capacity building, in your exposure. Expose yourself to talking to people, building your network, having relationships with professionals in different capacities, in different professions. And by this, what you will do is that you will not only encourage yourself to become better, those that look in your mirror, you will be also encouraging them to pursue their dreams and equip themselves with skills and knowledge so that they can succeed. As leaders, because I want to believe that every African is a leader, whether you're a leader in your home, whether you're a leader in your family, wherever you are a leader. You must have that fix in your mind that it is your responsibility to show example, mentor, and support the next generation by fostering a culture of excellence that will drive everybody and our countries and our continent forward. So what is the bedrock of excellence? How does this relate to the context of our culture and our diversity and our history? The reality of it is that diligence is actually the bedrock of ethical business practices. Diligence is your commitment to work hard, no matter what. Is your commitment to persevere, no matter what challenges are thrown at you, no matter how people discourage you, no matter how people abuse you, make fun of you, no matter how people refuse to support you, you have to persevere and do everything that you need to do to move ahead. That's what diligence is. It's about paying attention to detail and saying to yourself that no matter what anybody does, I am going to kick these people out of the road and I'm gonna move on ahead, you know. I remember a song by a reggae artist many years ago. His name was Max Romeo. Permit me, you know, if I sing a bit, but you know, it used to be, we're gonna chase those crazy baldheads out of town. You've got to chase those crazy baldheads out of town by persevering and ensure you get to where you want to get. Now, this can be challenging, especially more so in our continent and in our various countries where resources are scarce. Challenges abound all over the place. But you know, diligence is an attribute. It means thorough work, and it means meeting deadlines and honoring your commitments. It also means that you have to be transparent and accountable in the way you do your business, in the way you relate with people. Truth, honesty become very, very, very important. Because when you conduct your affairs with honesty and integrity, when you comply with laws and regulations, when you comply with the rules of human relationships, through diligence, you will build trust with your stakeholders, with your employees, with your friends, with your customers, your suppliers, and the wider community. This trust is going to be essential for your long-term success and sustainability. And what this entails, if you are able to bring all this together and encompass it in your character and in the way you live your life, it means what you bring to the table is value. Value. That is such a key word. Creating value is not just about making money. It's about positive impact to all the people that are involved with you and involved in your business. In the African context, it means considering the social and environmental dimensions of the activities in which we involve ourselves in. It means developing products, services that address the needs of our community by creating jobs and contributing to economic development. If we look at where the rest of the world is today, Asia, America, Australasia, Europe, and we look at all the issues of technology, environment, social impact, manufacturing, farming, agriculture, telecommunications, medicine, health, education. If we look at where they are and where we are in Africa, we are poles apart. I want you to start looking at that gap of where they are and where we are as the opportunity for you to move us from where we are to where they are by providing that gap, filling in that gap with services, with products, with knowledge, so that we can start to close the gap. Once you are able to fit yourself within that gap, you are not only bringing value, you are also going to make money. You are going to be relevant. You are going to be important. And if you are able to prioritize ethical practices that ensure fair wages, safe working conditions, respect for human beings, we will be able to ensure that we are moving forward. And not only that, you are preserving our natural talent, ability, our culture for future generations to tap from. This is what I mean by bringing value to the table, demonstrating our commitment to the well-being of our people and our planet. Now, let us turn to an often overlooked, yet incredibly important aspect of our workforce and of our lives across Africa: people with disabilities. In Africa, there are millions of individuals with disabilities who all face unique challenges, but they also possess immense potential. People with disabilities in Africa often, I'll say nay, always encounter barriers to education, employment, and social participation. However, I believe that these challenges can be overcome through concerted efforts to create inclusive environments. And this is going to involve a lot of work because we're very far from where we should be. For those of us who are employers of labor and who are in the business environment, we need to work with you and ensure that we start to create accessibility in workplaces. We need to start providing assistive technologies, and we need to start fostering an inclusive culture that values diversity. Because people with disabilities bring unique perspectives, skills, and resilience to the table, their contributions can always be innovative, driving and enhancing our ability to solve problems, improve organizational performance, and looking at things differently. And by tapping into this underutilized talent pool, businesses can gain a competitive edge and promote social equity. These are some of the things that we all need to work on. But these are some of the things people like myself and who are in similar positions need to understand that we need to work together to improve. Each person, regardless of ability, can contribute to evolving solutions to the challenges faced by people with disabilities. So from a personal level, fostering empathy, advocating for inclusive practices, and supporting accessible education and employment opportunities are crucial steps. And there are steps that I also intend to champion through and within our communities and workplaces as we look and try and ensure that everybody can thrive and contribute meaningfully. There are numerous examples of individuals with disabilities who have overcome significant obstacles to achieve remarkable success. And I want to urge you, and I want to support you to ensure that as we move forward, that you also become one of those individuals who will achieve significant success. Many stories abound that serve as powerful reminders that disability is not an inability. It is the opportunity for you to look at things differently and ensure that you play your role in the world. And as we move forward, I think it's important that we start to seek and promote and highlight and celebrate people with disabilities whose achievements can inspire others and break down the stigma associated with disability. To empower people with disabilities, number one, we must ensure that educational institutions are accessible and provide necessary support services. That is promoting inclusive education. I also feel that we need to implement more inclusive hiring practices. So our big businesses across the region, your MTNs, the Diageo, your banks, and the big international organizations must start to develop strategies that actively seek to hire individuals with disabilities and create a supportive work environment for them. We must urge and support more organizations, more companies, government at the federal, at the state, and at the local levels to offer training programs that equip people with disabilities with the skills needed for the various job roles and career advancement that the world needs today. I believe what all of you are doing in this group with Jennifer working so hard is something that is laudable, because what you're doing is you're working to implement policies that protect the rights of people with disabilities and promote their inclusion in all aspects of the society. And I believe it's an amazing job. I really, I'm glad that all of you are here today, listening to this talk. It's not going to be a long one today. In conclusion, the future of our continent hinges on our ability to bring together our ethics into every aspect of everything we do. Excellence and diligence and bringing value to the table are not just business strategies. They are ethical imperatives that reflect our African values, our African heritage. And when we embrace these principles by empowering people with disabilities, we can also build businesses that are not only successful, but also socially responsible and sustainable. I want to urge all of you in everything that you do to commit to being ethical people, ethical leaders who inspire trust, foster innovation, and contribute to the greater good. And I am sure that together, all of us, we can create a prosperous and equitable future for Nigeria where businesses thrive and our communities flourish and people with disability are the champions of moving the continent forward. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Wow. Mr. Remi, thank you so much, sir. Wait, let me add myself to this. Oops, sorry, 1 minute. Oh, done
Okay.
something wrong. Sent
No.
me.
I can
Okay, a
hear you
minute.
now.
Yes, I know. I have to bring you back in to the
Okay.
spotlight so I could ask you some questions. Yes, I think I just did that. Perfect. So thank you so much, Mr. Remi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough right now.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, sir, for this. This it was really wonderful. Um, I don't know. I think everyone we can give Mr. Remi some thumbs up, some emojis right now, so Mr.
Thumbs
Remi could
up, thumbs
feel.
up, emoji, emoji.
So Mr. Emi is very youthful at heart. That's one thing about him I like. He's so useful at heart. So youthful at heart. So we are waiting for your emojis. Just keep bringing it in. It's gonna be wonderful if you just keep bringing it in until we are, yes, I think we like that. Just keep bringing it in, please. Don't stop until I tell you to stop. So please don't stop until I
Am
tell
I
you
allowed
to.
to do emoji as well? Am I allowed? Am I allowed?
No, you are not allowed, Mr. Remy.
Oh, why
So like I
now?
said, Mr. Remy is very useful at heart. So
Ah,
you get a lot of his plays and his his comedies and everything. That's one of the things I like about Mr. Remy, of how he he relates with all age brackets, all age groups, and it's very wonderful to be in the center of every, you know, all age bracket. It's very wonderful. Thank you once more. This was really a short but powerful one. And I think it was more like a father to children kind of discussion. Let's just be real, like more like a family talk. Let's come family. And I think it was really very impactful to me personally. I just have a few questions to ask. And I think then other people, if you have questions, please put on the chat box and also raise your hands and your questions will be attended to. Please put on the chat box and raise your hand. The first question I have to ask is, you talked about bringing value to the table, which is very important. Oh, firstly, sir, I was trying to take a picture of you, but it seems your full light bulb, they are not turned on. I don't know if you want to turn on every, or are you okay that way? I was
oh,
thinking maybe,
you know what? I have one funny light here in my office. Hold on.
yes,
If I
sir.
put one off, you will see.
Okay, no, no. I think
No, I'm going to put on another one now.
okay.
So, ah,
Oh
I
my
have to,
God, this is
I
really
have to switch on the
hilarious.
proper light so that
Let's
it
see how it goes.
now wow. Let me see.
Did it work, right?
Is that not better?
Is this better? Do we like it this way? Okay. Okay, I think it is. Okay, I think we'll take it. We'll take it from you.
Do you
That
want it like this?
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, Sam. So now let's go back to our question. You talked about bringing value to the table, and I
Yes.
usually hear that word a lot about bringing value to the table, adding values. So as people with disabilities, let's come down to the roots. And we know very well that generally, for me, not you may not know because you're not me. You have never had, not like you've never had, but I know very well that you understand disability and you talk about inclusion. So someone like me, for instance, bringing value to the table for people with disability can be very strenuous. Which you talked about of how we have to work more to bring that value to the table. So my thoughts now is because for them to be inclusion, they have to be people who are available, or for them to be opportunities, they have to be people who are available to fill up those opportunities and who are also competent as well. And that's one of the main reasons why you are here. People who are competent and to fill up the opportunities, because nobody gives job out of sympathy. Nobody creates opportunity or opens up because you have a disability, so come and work, when you don't have the right tools or you don't know the right thing to do. So in that aspect, I want you to shed a bit more light on making people with disabilities like myself and every other person who are here in this meeting and those who will listen. Can you shed more light about how there may be opportunities, but if we don't step up to that place where we don't come to plead and tell them, please employ me, or we don't come to that, we should not expect them, or we should not expect any company or whichever the top big force company to just pick us because we have disability and there is a place for inclusion. So there may be an inclusive environment, but they need competent hands to handle that place. So can you shed more light about that, specifically narrow? I know you have said something, but narrow it down to how opportunities can only be open for preparation. Thank you, sir.
It's very, very simple actually. And I hope that, some people are going to take this down. You see, Jennifer, yeah, people with disability need to come together. You are doing some of this. You are doing some of the work already. And here I'm talking about advocacy and awareness. You must all come together with like-minded people who might not be disabled. And you must advocate for inclusive policies. You must raise awareness. You must raise awareness. You must raise awareness about your capabilities and the capabilities of people with disabilities. I'm going to say it again. You must raise awareness of the capabilities of people with disabilities. You must challenge those stereotypes and you must show them what people of disability can bring to the table. You must. Because in our African society, if you don't shout for yourself, nobody's going to shout for you. Number two, all of anybody that has a disability must try and find time, opportunities for specialized training programs. Go and look for a mentor. Go and look for a mentor that will be with you, that will stick by you, that will love you, and that will support you and will fight for you. And also ensure that people with disabilities who are already working in environments where they have the opportunity to show their skills are also on board with you. You need to look at how, especially in this economy, where we have a gig economy all over the world, where people are able to work from any environment, you must start to look at opportunities where you can get involved in organizations and professions and job opportunities that have flexible work arrangements and flexible location arrangements, including how they hire people, where they hire people, where you can work, and all of those kind of things. I think also you need to look at networking and support. That's building your networks with your peers, other disability organizations around the world that can provide support, guidance, and opportunities for professional growth. These are the ways that you can start to come together to see how you can add value. In terms of individuals, there's this thing called self-advocacy. You must be able to advocate for yourself every day, everywhere, every minute, every opportunity, to communicate your own personal needs and your personal strengths. You need to be able to show what you can contribute, the things that you can add, and you must assert that thing that you can add, which are core value. By addressing some of these things, you find that maybe with enough commitment and enough time and perseverance, we can start to contribute meaningfully to the workplaces, get jobs and employment, and showcase our unique perspectives and our unique abilities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. That's really wonderful. I think I got some points. Wait, let me spotlight myself as well. Sorry, I'm trying to move around the spotlight. So I need to spotlight myself so I could hear myself and see myself as well. Yeah. So thank you so much, sir. I got some points on this. And there are some questions on the chat box. I will just ask one or two that I feel they are okay. But just to add to what Mr. Remi said, because this is actually a very open discussion, and it's good that we talk this through for some persons who really want to get somewhere in the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. The thing is, for me personally, I've worked in organizations and disability did not prevent me from getting a job. That's me personally. From what Mr. Remi said, advocacy is key, and he talked about advocacy. He talked about a net community. He talked about many other things, which we'll discuss on the chat. Some people are going to say something, but I want to just add to what he has said, that one of the key things that we should bring to the table, in addition to all of this advocacy and networking, is the fact that we should be also competent to a level. We're not telling us to be perfect, but we should get to a level of competency that we can do the job. So the rest aspect will now be the advocacy. That why can't you put me in when I am competent enough to do the job? That's where advocacy can be effective. And that's why Mr. Remi talked about remote working. He talked about remote opportunities where you know that you can easily flow very well, and it's very accessible and inclusive to do those jobs. So some of us may need to probably reskill ourselves, we learn, because Mr. Remi talked about education being progressive. It's not about getting a master's. What we are doing here is education, just for you to know. What we are doing here is we are schooling each and every one of us, and we are growing and we are educating ourselves. And some people may go into masters, may do many things. I mean, they may not have this value system to bring to the table to sustain their jobs. Thank you again, Mr. Remi. So let me go into the questions. There are just few questions I think I am seeing here. Well, let me just read them in, the one that I feel can be addressed. Difference between ethical norm and ethical behavior. I don't know if Mr. Remi said something about it, but Mr. Remi, just add that as what you will say before you leave here today.
What is the question?
The difference between ethical norm and ethical, let me see it again. I think I just missed it. Sorry. The difference between ethical norm and ethical behavior. So that's one. So somebody said, Abdul said, so inspiring and empowering. Yes, it is actually. Another person talked about getting opportunities. That's where the challenge is. And people without disabilities should accept us. Okay, that's that one. I think I would also say something before Mr. Remi. I think he has actually said a lot, but people without disabilities should work on their narrative and accept us. We don't need to be exceptional to be considered for a placement. I think I said something about that. We don't really need to be exceptional to be considered for a placement, but we need to be competent as well to be accepted for that placement. If you want them to give you value, which is money, you must also bring in value, which Mr. Remi talked about, to the table. So learning something just to get that value, a tech skill, which LBD always advocates for, or any other thing that you know you are competent enough. And then the next thing will be advocacy if you're not given that opportunity. If there's an inequality, then advocacy comes in. But the question is, are you even competent? Am I competent? If we are competent enough, then the next thing for us to do is to advocate for our rights. But when we are not competent and we want to just get it, then there will be a challenge there, because even if the space is free and open, it will be open for somebody who can do the job and not somebody who comes in with sympathy to the table. So I think we should be real to ourselves first. And when we are down being real to ourselves, we can fight for the advocacy through the power of unity and togetherness. So, Mr. Remi, you can still throw more light on that if there's something you want to say, because you are a man that has so many companies everywhere in different locations. Another question here is, I'm trying to read all the questions at once, so Mr. Remi can take his bow probably and go. There is no level playing field. This is the predicament, okay, for people with disability. Okay, so I really don't like any sad, moody environment. That's me. And I've lived in my country before. I've lived in Nigeria, and I know the hustle and the bustle of life. And I've also lived there, and I've worked in different places, including Lagos Island. Those that know Ikoyi, those that know Lagos Island, I've worked there in a law firm, and it was not easy getting in there, but I was determined to get in there. And I did as much as I could, even with so many rejection letters. So if we settle in for pity party, we'll never get anything in return. But Mr. Remi, can you just throw more light on anything I've said that you feel you want to say something about?
Okay, I'll take there are three questions that you've thrown at me. The first question was, what is the difference between ethical norms and ethical behavior? An ethical norm is established standards or principles that guide moral conduct within a society or group. So for instance, stealing is looked at in a very, very woeful way. Killing somebody, murder, is not acceptable. So ethical norms represent the expectations of what is considered right or wrong. And they provide that framework within which we will make ethical decisions. Examples are honesty, integrity, fairness, respect. Ethical behavior, on the other hand, refers to the actions rather than established principles. These are now the established standards and principles put into action. And they guide the conduct of the individuals so that they align with ethical norms. Simply put, it's the practical application of principles of ethical norms in real life situations, and can be demonstrated with such things like truthfulness, accountability, and treating others with respect. If I was to summarize it, ethical norms are guidelines, while ethical behavior is the practice of those guidelines in everyday life. I don't know, is that easy to understand? Okay. Now, the other question was, people with disabilities, how can they seek opportunities? And the other third question was fighting an unlevel playing field for disabled people. Those two questions for me actually are one and the same. I think we've talked about, we've talked about advocacy and change, education and awareness. We've talked about employment, seeking employment opportunities, the different ways jobs are available right now. the remote working, attending job fairs. They have a lot of online job fairs as well. Looking at issues like self-employment, for instance, entrepreneurship, looking at how you can leverage technology to create work for yourself. These are the ways you can basically create opportunities for yourself, and you can start to even the on level playing field. That is how I would respond to those questions.
Thank you so much, sir, once more. So just to recap what Mr. Remi has said, he talked about not on the ethical norms, on the other part of networking and the rest. He talked about job fairs. He talked about how remote working, which almost everybody is going into right now, almost everybody that is in this generation, this Gen Z generation is going into. Just in case you're not aware about it, that is what the Gen Z generation is doing. Most times people work from home, or they work 3 times from home. Even in Africa, they still do it. And he talked about creating your own employment opportunities for yourself. And somebody said something, Mr. Remi, about it's unfair. He talked about disability and how people network, and how people relate with people, and it's unfair. But can I just say something from my own point of view? Generally, life is unfair. Can you just drink that in or take that in? Life generally is unfair. I know some of us are 18, 19, 20, and we're just beginning to understand life. Unlike Mr. Remi that probably have seen the First World War, the Second World War, and he knows how life is. But from a holistic point, get it in. Generally, life itself only bows to the strong, the brave, and those who want to take it irrespective of whatever the circumstances may be. And this is I'm not just saying this because we have disability. I'm saying this even for those who don't have disability, they still face challenges that is unique to them. So it's not about your disability completely. Even without your disability, you will still face the reality of life being unfair. So by the time we show that in and see how we can decide how we want to live our lives, then you discover that no matter how unfair the level playing ground is, we'll be on top of it because we have decided to be on top of it. Any last words from you, Mr. Remi, before we
take? I want to also touch on that last question, and because really it's like, how do we deal with the unfairness of life? How do we deal with the ridicule at times that we feel from people regarding our disability? How do we face those situations that make us feel sad? And you know what? One thing I have found, and this applies to even people without disability, let me just tell you that. You see, God created each one of us as individuals. And whether we are disabled or not disabled, or not disabled, God has given each one of us certain strengths. Please focus on your personal strengths. Focus on your achievements. Because let me tell you, nobody is perfect, and we all have our disabilities. Some of us have mental disabilities, and we don't know it. Some of us have social disabilities. So whoever you are, focus on your personal strengths. Focus on those things that you have achieved in your life. And develop strategies to handle adversity. When things come your way that shake you, find a way to handle it. Build your inner strength. And you can do that through support. The Bible says that if it's the left hand, if it causes you to sin, cut it off. Abi, the right hand, cut it off. So cut off those people in your life that are not supporting you. You don't need them in your life. Connect with supportive friends, family, support groups, people that love you, people that are able to encourage you. Don't hang around people that have nothing to offer you. It's a waste of time. Engage with communities that understand you and who can share your experience and understand it and be there and give you the direction and the love that you need. Who can give you the hugs and the kisses that you need? Who can hug you, and when you want to cry, they can cry with you. Those are the people you need in your lives. Spend time educating other people about disabilities. That is the only way you can reduce the stigma. Most importantly, be kind to yourself. And stop blaming yourself for anything. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Recognize your worth in this world beyond your disability. Your disability is a challenge, but you are worth a lot more to the world beyond that. So practice self-kindness. Be kind to yourself. Ensure that you have a positive environment around you. Positive influence and people who uplift you. And I've said it before, minimize your exposure to negative or toxic environments and people. Pick them out. Look for hobbies and activities that bring joy and a sense of accomplishment to your life. And focus on areas. Focus on areas where you know you can excel and you can contribute meaningfully. If you adopt some of these strategies, I can guarantee you that you'll be able to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience, and you will find empowerment despite any ridicule or unfairness anybody may want to throw at you. That's why I wore this today. Can you see it? Live your life. Thank you.
Wow. Let me spotlight myself. I'm so sorry.
That is it. Live your life. Live you know, anybody that doesn't contribute or doesn't have anything to offer, you tell them to bugger off. Pardon my language.
Okay. Can everybody see me? Or I'm the only one seeing myself?
I can see you.
Wow. No, this last part was really wonderful. It's almost like you got me personally. You actually spoke to me. Yes. And that's it. And I think this is really very wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, sir. Live your life. To be honest, let us live our lives. I know it's not easy, it's tough out there, and that's why we are here to get the energy we need to actually go and live our lives. So if we don't get this kind of positive energy, by the time we go out there, we cannot be able to wage and defend ourselves. We cannot be able to defend ourselves. And just as Mr. Remi said, live your life. Every day I wake up battle ready. Let me use myself as an example, how I've come this far. Every time when I look at the mirror, I know within me that somebody is going to tell me something that is not me. So before I even leave my house, I've decided who I am and what I see about me and what I want to achieve. So even when you tell me something that is not me, I already know who I am and what it's all about me. So it's not going to enter into me like a sword. No, it's going to bounce because there's a shield already. And that's what Mr. Remi said, live your life. So this is more like an energy to help everyone. Some people with disability don't have this, and they don't understand what Mr. Remi has said. So they are always getting those arrows, and they don't know how to live their lives. So this is really wonderful. This is really nice. Mr. Remi, before you go, I just want us to put another emoji for you. So we can just bring in some emojis so Mr. Remi can be very So he can know that we are really very happy that he did this for us. Thank you, sir. I am very grateful. Personally, I am very grateful that you are here. Mr. Remi is one person that has helped us and is still helping us in LBD, and he's youthful at heart. That's one thing about him I like. He doesn't want to grow old, and he's not old.
I take exception to that. I'm not old now. Why are you giving everybody the impression that I'm old? They can see that I'm under 16 years old now.
Very true. So, Mr. Remi, thank you so much, sir. God bless you for being here.
And God bless everybody here too.
We wish to have you more and more to do this with us more and more, so we can run with this energy to the end of the year and achieve something individual with our individual strengths.
Amen.
God bless you once more. Can we say bye to Mr. Remi?
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye-bye, sir.